We are 22S Radio. 22S Radio is 22smedia.com and 88.1 FM KKJZ HD3 Long Beach, Los Angeles.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, and now a World Broadcasting Tag Team Champions of the World and a Cruiserweight Champion.
I'm Ethan.
I'm James.
I'm Rob.
And this is Beyond the Ropes episode. Who knows? But it's the last episode of the year. Do you guys remember what episode we are on?
It's 122, I think.
Like 122. If I'm not mistaken. 122.
I think it's like 120.
I think you're wrong, sir. I think, it's the last episode of the year. I mean, that's all we know for sure. That's all we know. We do know that for sure.
We've done a lot of episodes. Check out the YouTube page.
Yes.
Still quarantine.
We're still in quarantine. We're still on Zoom. We're still trying to figure things out here each and every week, no matter how many episodes. I do know we have over 100 episodes, and this is episode 122 of Beyond the Ropes.
Dang it. I was so close. I was like, I thought for sure you were going to say 120.
We are BTR Pro Wrestling Talk. Of course, we are Zooming once again for what? The 50th time in a row? I don't know. That's not accurate, but you know what I mean.
Seems that way.
We're safe at home. Hopefully you are too. Hopefully you have had a safe and happy Christmas or Hanukkah or Kwanzaa. By the time this airs, of course, it will have already happened. Of course, we wish you a happy new year. Hopefully 2021 is going to work out better for us. But until then, we are still in quarantine here. Of course, I am your host, Ethan, joined alongside the Analyst JW Reporter on Twitter. And of course, our producer, Rob Flores Media, also on Twitter. And of course, you can follow me at EthanMV95. Switched it up a little bit. You saw that?
You did.
Yeah, because I messed up, so I just went along with it.
That's okay.
He remembered, but he didn't remember to have just one username.
That's right. You both just have one username.
He has a fair point.
Because I'm special. I like to separate my stuff here. All right. Anyways, it's the last episode of the year. Have I mentioned that already? Good. Let's talk about Matters and Chairs that happened last week. What a show. The WWE pay-per-view of the year. It featured 6 main card matches and 1 pre-show match.
And some surprises, I'd say.
There was a murder on television. I am terrified.
Well, before we get into that, could we kind of talk about the predictions and
let's talk
who
about
was right and who was wrong?
Yeah, let's talk about it. I'm going to go onto our Twitter account, which is, by the way, at RealBTR Radio, because I tweeted it out. Professional guys. I don't know.
I saw the tweet, but I scrolled past it only because I wasn't I hadn't watched the show yet, and I didn't want to spoil it for myself to know if I was absolutely right or absolutely wrong, because then that'd be all I thought about the whole show. So I'm excited to know for the first time officially on air, knowing how right I actually was.
All right.
So go ahead. Tell me I got them all right.
So we did not predict the pre-show match. I
No,
didn't know about that. We didn't predict it, though, which is fine.
Who was the pre-show match, Ethan?
It was an 8-man tag team match, actually. Thanks for asking. It was, of course, a team of Chad Gable, Otis, Big E, and Daniel Bryan. That's right, an interesting team there. Taking on the team of King Corbin, Shinsuke Nakamura, Cesaro, and the Intercontinental Champion, Sami Zayn.
So they're trying to do the whole Shinsuke, Sami, Cesaro thing, huh?
No, it's just Shinsuke and Cesaro as a team. They just had Sami Zayn involved. He's still doing it.
I think, though, too, when you just look at the card, I don't know if you want to say it speaks to the amount of talent that is on the roster, but I mean, when you have a guy like Big E and Daniel Bryan on your pre-show, who should easily be mid-card, main event every day of the week.
All those guys could be potentially like upper mid-card at least.
At least one guy in that match is supposed to have a rocket strapped to his back and be in the main event of WrestleMania this year, but we'll see.
We will see indeed. All right, so do we just want to start with who predicted the most correctly, or should we just go match by match? How do you want to do this? Up to you, James.
We can go match by match, and then you could tell me that was the winner after.
Okay. All right. So
I don't like how you quickly said okay, but okay.
We'll start off with the opening contest. It was for the WWE Championship in a TLC match between the champion Drew McIntyre defending against the phenomenal challenger AJ Styles. Of
The
course,
first match on the card, huh?
right. It was the opening contest. Of course, he had his I guess bodyguard Omos alongside with him. This was a pretty good match. AJ was starting off with a lot of heavy offense, using the weapons to his advantage. Then you got to see Drew kind of get in there as well. I think AJ was working on Drew's knee throughout the match, so that played into a lot of it. And about a certain point, as Drew actually literally did like a toss on AJ outside of the ring through a table, as he was climbing up, we got to see The Miz come out, and he cashed in his Money in the Bank contract. He
Wow.
threw Drew McIntyre onto a table as he was climbing. Of course, AJ Styles' bodyguard almost got involved, threw him over the top rope through a table, and chased off John Morrison, who was also trying to help The Miz. Basically, McIntyre, AJ for a bit, Miz showed up, and they were kind of all climbing up the ladder, doing back and forth stuff. Ultimately, McIntyre pushed the heels off the ladder, sending them outside the ring, retaining the WWE Championship. Lisa
So that's the briefcase spot then, huh?
That's it. I mean, he doesn't have it anymore. It's a shame because his title run, but that's it. So I think we all predicted McIntyre on this one. So we all have one point right here on the card. That's good.
Yeah, but that's great, but they messed up the briefcase thing.
I agree.
The Money in the Bank. So let's talk about it for a minute.
Let's talk about it for a minute. Not about it.
So what is okay? So first of all, what is our next pay-per-view from here? Are we the Royal Rumble's next?
The Rumble.
And we don't know where McIntyre is going to go in terms of who the next challenger is going to be at the Royal Rumble, right?
Could be no, actually, no clue.
Because I mean,
as we're talking about this right now, currently Monday Night Raw is happening, of course, a week later. But so I don't know if there's been kind of a challenger already kind of being teased, but
right.
We'll find out more.
Yeah, I'm just curious to see where they go. I mean, Miz with the briefcase is always a good idea. I mean, it's not like
it's gone now.
I mean, it's not like it was going badly. It's not like him with the briefcase isn't boring, I don't think.
It wasn't, but the way they booked it wasn't the best.
Yeah. I don't know.
They really didn't do much for him.
I think it just added an element of something that could happen at any time. I mean, considering where Raw has been lately in terms of just what they've been producing on the show, I don't know. Man, I think it was a bad idea. Just put it simply there.
I agree. I do agree with you. Rob, what do you think about Miz cashing in unsuccessfully?
That's fine. You can't have 100% predictability and cash-ins no more.
That's true. I wonder, we'd have to kind of maybe look back. Who was the last person to cash in and do it successfully? I feel like it's been a while. I might be wrong.
Lady Asuka won earlier this year, but won the women's championship right away because Becky.
That's right.
She won Money in the Bank, and it was for the title. So.
And that was the first female Money in the Bank, right? Oh no, because Carmella's had it before, so never mind.
And Bailey had it last year, so she might. She cashed it in to win that title, the SmackDown Women's Championship last year. So that may have been successfully.
Okay. I just feel like at least on the men's side, there hasn't been too many.
Ron, I think, was the last one, and I don't think he was successful.
Who was?
Ron Strowman?
Oh, Braun. Yeah, I guess. I forgot about that.
Brock was last year.
Oh, Brock.
Brock might have cashed it in last year, and he won it.
Maybe.
I think he did successfully cash in. It was either last year or the year before, so.
Okay. Well, that's guy who shouldn't have been in the match to begin with, but there's that. Anyways.
Next match is for the SmackDown Women's Championship. This was a phenomenal match. Of course, the champion, Sasha Banks, defended against the challenger, Carmella, who has kind of been on a roll as of late on SmackDown. This may have been Carmella's best match, her best showing.
That's what I've heard. That's the word on the Twitter streets.
Sasha Banks, obviously a phenomenal competitor. And so I'm sure she was definitely helping Carmella step up to the plate. And Carmella did her part. I mean, she stepped it up for sure. Honestly, I would have believed her if she would have won the match. I would have believed that she could have.
Wow. I think so.
I think so, but we all predicted Sasha was going to win. And
oh, come on now. We're not silly here at BTR. We're not silly.
we played it safe here. Come on.
Maybe a little too safe. I think someone on Twitter said that.
Yes, we did. It was kind of predictable. It was kind of a predictable show.
We'll have to I want to read. I might read that tweet out after the commercial break here in a little bit. But yeah, I think we did get called soft on our predictions, and I don't think he's wrong. We'll get into that later.
It was a predictable show, but it was a fun show nonetheless. I will say it was a very enjoyable show. There I was like, man, this isn't very good. But again, this was a stellar match. Carmella definitely showed she's worthy of being champion once again. But until then, Sasha Banks carrying that gold. We got 2 points each now, right here on the ropes. That's right, 2 for predictions. We're 2 for 2. All right, the next match was a tag team match for the Raw tag team titles. See, I was a very hopeful person here, and
I think
a little
this
too
is for the men's, correct?
for the Raw men's tag team titles.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
It was the defending champions, the New Day of Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods, the Hurt Business members of Shelton Benjamin and Cedric Alexander. Another fun match. It was interesting because the New Day, a good first half of the match, were dominating. Like they were literally just out wrestling Hurt Business pretty bad. Like it looked like one-sided for a good few minutes. But then we got to see Hurt Business kind of switch it around. So match there, and then we got to see Shelton Benjamin hit pay dirt on Woods, and then I believe Cedric hit a neuralizer on Woods first, and then he got hit with pay dirt, and then Kofi ended up getting pinned and ended up losing 2 teeth. If you see his Twitter account, he posted some teeth where he gave the Hurt Business some creds there. So we have some new Raw Tag Team Champions. The Hurt Business are covered in gold. Rob predicted that correctly. James predicted that correctly. I did not predict it correctly. I thought they were going to go a different direction.
No way. Let's talk about it for a minute here. First of all, you're silly for thinking otherwise. No. But no, in all seriousness though, like, you know, when I would catch Raw or parts of Raw, it was always involving this angle right here, and I would just always see, oh, it didn't go in our favor, let's do a rematch, or let's do this, or there was always something. They just kept going on. They kept having the title match, and the New Day kept coming out on top. So there had to have been, it was the only answer to this storyline was to have the Hurt Business come out on top of this one. If not, what was the whole point of the storyline? So I think it was the right decision to put the title on the Hurt Business. And I mean, I'm kind of curious to see now where they do go with the New Day. Obviously, with Big E not there on Raw anymore, do we start seeing more of Kofi in singles? Is Xavier Woods, who was supposed to be doing the GTV or G4 TV or whatever it's called, supposed to be doing some of that. I'm sure he can find a way to fit that in his schedule and still do WWE without a problem. But at the same time, I think it would be a good opportunity, if anything, for him to maybe kind of step away, get settled in with that, and then kind of make a return into the ring. Who's to say he doesn't maybe kind of stop wrestling for a little bit, or at least take it easy as he kind of gets into that new G4 TV role. I think it's G4 TV, or it might be GTV. No, GTV was like was something from the Attitude Era, I think. G4 is the gaming channel, for those who don't know. Xavier Woods has been announced as a host for that, or the main show, but he's supposed to have a role in that. And you can't have your host getting hurt in the ring and then try and host a TV show. So I'm curious to see where they go with that. But who knows where they go with the New Day? Maybe having the New Day step away, or what they do. Who knows? I think this goes back to Miz and Morrison. Maybe we get them back into the tag team mix a little bit, get them back on track now that the kind of single stuff and the briefcase stuff is done. Who knows where they go with the tag division now?
I think they're going to go potentially with the Hardy Bros, the team of Jeff Hardy and Matt Riddle.
I saw that, and if I'm Jeff Hardy, I'm not very happy with the name. I understand why they do it, but it's kind of meh for me. I heard or saw something along the lines of Matt Riddle, I think, getting a new deal or extension over the past week or so. So that's kind of interesting. But
you like
I don't think it's a long-term team. I don't know, but
maybe not a long-term team, but right now I think they are feuding with the Hurt Business. So I think that's going to be really moving forward for the foreseeable future. Some type of program. I don't know if it's going to be tag team. I know Riddle had a little thing with Lashley. They haven't really faced off on
right.
So
That's right.
title as well. Yeah, so we'll see. I mean, there's a little feud going on there. All right, so we have less than 2 minutes now. And before we go to break, just a little preview for what's coming up next. Of course, we have our analyst, James. He's going to break down some of the ratings, right, I believe?
I'll have some numbers for you guys. And speaking of numbers, we'll get back to the predictions as well. And why I'm supposed to win this whole thing.
Oh, well, yeah, we'll see. We have 1 minute, but I don't promote our social medias all the way through because we're busy trying to figure out this whole process. It's a learning process here on BTR.
You got 2 of them, so it might take you a minute. Go ahead.
We are on Facebook, facebook.com/Beyond the Ropes. Rob posts every episode there, so there should be 121 episodes currently uploaded. Ideally, I mean, right?
Yeah, realistically, but
you can find all those episodes currently uploaded on his YouTube page. YouTube.com/Rob Flores. Of course, you can follow me on Twitter at EthanMV95 and Instagram. Why not? I probably won't accept you because I'm very picky about who I let follow me. So you can follow me on my other one, Ethan Everyday, which is
you go.
You can follow James at
JHW Reporter, both on Instagram and on Twitter. You can also find me on Twitch as well using the same username.
That's right. We got a Twitch star here.
Yeah.
Rob, how can they find you, Rob?
Rob Flores Media.
All right. Let's go to a commercial break, and when we return, we'll get more into TLC. We are 22S Radio. 22S Radio is 22smedia.com and 88.1 FM, KKJZ HD3, Long Beach, Los Angeles. Welcome back to episode 122 of Beyond the Ropes. Of course, I am your host, Ethan, in which you can follow me on Twitter at EthanMV95 and, of course, on Instagram, Ethan Everyday. You can follow our analyst, James Williams, at
JHW Reporter.
And you can follow him on Twitter. Yeah, the Twitch. He's promoting his Twitch now.
The Twitch, the Instagram, the Facebook, the MySpace. I got it all, folks.
There you go. What games do you play on Twitch?
A little Fortnite a lot of Fortnite. Some Overwatch, and I played some WWE 2K on there. Might do that a little more. And maybe one day in the future I'll be talking about some wrestling and other stuff. And if I'm on there playing video games, you guys can always hit me up on there and ask me wrestling questions. I'm down to talk wrestling whenever.
We got to get BTR on Twitch one of these days.
That's the plan.
And of course, you can follow Rob at
Rob Flores Media.
Go. And of course, youtube.com/Rob Flores, where Rob posts every single episode of this show on his channel, and facebook.com/Beyond the Ropes. We post predictions, videos, and additional content once in a while. Twitter.com/RealBTR Radio. And that got everything. I think about everything. We are safe at home, sticking with quarantine, of course. We are recording away from the studio. We're here on Zoom, so special thanks to Zoom. Special shout out there for allowing us to record this. I hope everyone is safe. Hope everyone had a happy Christmas. And let's get back into TLC, Tables, Ladders, and Chairs 2020. We finished off the Raw Men's Tag Team title match. Now we're hitting the WWE Women's Tag Team title match. It was a team of the champions, Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler, taking on Asuka and her mystery partner after Lana was injured by Nia and Shayna 2 weeks ago on Raw.
Okay, wait, pause. Before we get into who was the partner, who did we think it was going to be? Who did you guys have any guesses or thoughts or anything on that?
Kind of going around.
I got a dog barking in the background. He's not very happy with maybe I guess with who the mystery partner was. So
I had a hunch who it was because it was kind of going around a bit.
Are you reading the dirt sheets?
No, it shows up on my Twitter. You know,
so your Twitter is a dirt sheet.
Yeah, my whole Twitter is basically. Was the Queen, Charlotte Flair, made her return after nearly 6 months, I believe, out of action, dealing with some stuff.
Do we know what I know it was like a long break. Oh, she did have
like a health reason.
Yeah, she did, huh? I think she did. Yeah, that's right. I remember something about it. She mentioned something about it.
She took care of it. She's looking good. She's looking, like she never lost a step. She joined her former rival, Asuka, to team up against Nia and Shayna, and they successfully captured the WWE Women's Tag Team Champions, making Charlotte Flair a Grand Slam champion, making Asuka the only 3-time WWE Women's Tag Team Champions.
One.
So
to that point, though, I think there's very good booking here from the standpoint of you kind of get Charlotte back in. You're not putting her in the solo title picture right away on the women's side, but you're also, when you consider who Shayna and Nia are with their gimmicks and the way they are presented as two powerhouses, I think you're going to need an Asuka and a Charlotte to kind of take the titles away from them. So I think that's the right call. I don't think that's something Asuka would have been able to do without some shenanigans. Having a partner like Lana, obviously, just considering the booking she's had. Obviously, she's injured, like you mentioned, on the shelf now. But yeah, I think if you were going to have two people to beat Shayna and Nia, I think they got that one right for sure.
Yeah, two dominant champions, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Charlotte's won every title now in WWE. Asuka's been a dominant champion as well.
Do we think we're gonna get a long-term title run here, or is this something short-term? I know Charlotte, I believe I heard on Raw tonight, call Asuka her friend and partner and tag team, whatever, but called her friend. To me, sounds kind of fishy already.
Are we getting a WrestleMania rematch? They had one a couple of years ago.
Yeah, the first loss for Asuka. So
happen again potentially.
I wouldn't be against it. It's been a while, so
if Asuka doesn't lose again, she's already lost to Charlotte at Mania, and I think another loss would just be. I mean, it wouldn't look good for Asuka.
No, I think it'd be. I think
she'd be fine. But
she'd be fine. I mean,
I don't think it's necessary if they're gonna have her lose again to Charlotte at Mania.
I think then we have this conversation before where they had like a rematch or something. Wasn't that one of Charlotte's last matches? I think was maybe with Asuka, and I think maybe Charlotte won or something.
I
Or
don't.
maybe that was somebody else because I don't know. I thought there should have been something where Asuka, because I don't think Asuka's gotten the win back. Is that correct?
I don't remember.
I don't remember if she has or not either.
You know what? It might have been like a TLC thing. I think on the latter match, a TLC match. It was with Charlotte and Becky, I think.
Maybe. Okay, that sounds right.
No, it was 2 years ago. So I think that's when she won her first title, but it wasn't by like pinfall or anything. It wasn't like 1-on-1.
Right.
I don't know if she got her win back or not. So I mean, it would make sense for a rematch. Maybe she.
Yeah. She would have to win at the WrestleMania, I would think.
I would hope. So, and who defeats them for the WWE Tag Team titles? I mean, Asuka and Charlotte are arguably two of the most dominant champions in women's history. I mean, Asuka has the longest reign in NXT, undefeated in NXT. Charlotte has won again they've actually both won every title under the banner, Grand Slam champions.
Are they the only two, or Bayley was the first? Wasn't Bayley's in that too, right? She was the first one.
I believe Bayley was the first one,
and that was only like a few months ago, right?
Yeah, I believe so. I will say also, I think Charlotte and Asuka both have Rumble wins. Bayley doesn't have that yet. However, Charlotte is missing like a Money in the Bank. So.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
But yeah, I mean, other than that, who's gonna beat them?
I don't know. That's a good question. It would depend who's on the roster. I mean, I don't know. That's a good question. I mean, that's almost a tougher spot than the Nia Shayna thing, to be honest. So, I think Bianca Belair can be in that. But
I know.
I mean, are you gonna
Shotzi and Bianca? Shotzi's doing her thing there.
Yeah.
Bianca, I think is gonna get the singles push.
Well, she's supposed to be the one on the women's side who's supposed to be getting the push.
She's feuding with Bayley right now.
Yeah.
She lost her, but apparently it was a good showing. And I think Bayley may have cheated. I didn't catch SmackDown recently.
Right. Yeah, SmackDown was kind of switched to FS1, I believe, just because of the the Pac-12 championship game between USC and Oregon. For those who are wondering, maybe why they didn't have the WWE SmackDown programming on their Fox channel on Friday. Did we give a prediction, or what were the predictions on the tag team match there? Do we have that available? Because I think I wasn't expecting Charlotte, so I was kind of waiting to, I mean, without even, I didn't think they were going to bring in someone like Charlotte. So I was kind of surprised by the Charlotte move. That would have definitely changed my pick, but I believe I had Shayna and Nia on that one, just because of just not knowing who the mystery partner was going to be. So I don't know what, I mean, there was no other right or wrong answer there. Charlotte had to have been the only one, like I mentioned, who could have done that and gotten the titles off them. I think it was almost kind of silly, though, to have gotten the titles off of Shayna and Nia, because now what do you do with those two? I think when you consider what they've been doing outside of defending the tag team titles with Lana, you put Lana on the shelf, you injure her, you're putting her through a table for 10 weeks. So I'm not entirely sure what the plan is going to be for even a Nia or for Nia or Shayna. I believe Ethan is going to be getting the picks here in a minute for us, because I think he's just denying the fact that I was correct. But
okay, sorry.
Let me know, Ethan, how right I was about this. Because, no, I mean, I believe I had Shayna and Nia. Tell me if I'm wrong on that.
Okay, so James stalling for time there.
Yes, I was. I thought I did a good job.
So Rob got Asuka and the mystery partner. I also got Asuka and the mystery partner.
Really?
And you
Yeah, but you
guessed
knew
Shayna
already,
and
right?
Nia. I figured, yeah.
Okay, but I had Shayna and Nia, right? Okay.
Mm-hmm. So that's 3 for Rob and I.
But
Mm-hmm.
Even if I knew it was Charlotte, I probably wouldn't have thought that she was gonna win. Like her and Asuka were gonna win because I thought there would have been some screwy there to kind of to get them off and then to get them off on some solo feud and then maybe do something that way with Nia and Shayna continuing their tag title run because Asuka wasn't even originally in this storyline with Nia and Shayna. That was kind of Lana's thing, and Lana was just kind of partnered up with Asuka as just a filler, I think, is what it was. It wasn't Lana and Asuka almost like some sort of mystery partner thrown together tag team. So I think that one just kind of, I don't know. Me. So I was wrong. Whatever. I was wrong.
Yeah, I don't know where they were going with that. All right. Universal Championship match. Roman Reigns versus defending against Kevin Owens.
Mm-hmm.
This was a match of the night, probably.
What was the stipulation on this?
TLC.
Okay.
This was brutal. This is a match you gotta see. If you're gonna watch any.
It looked pretty brutal. I believe Kevin Owens was probably doing most of the bumps in this one, I would think.
Yeah.
Because there's no way the Chief's taking bumps, right?
Well, no, that's the tribal chief. Of course. Come on. Jey Uso did go through the announce table and take a regular table.
Of course, the Chief isn't taking bumps. He just has cousin Jay do it.
Well, he's got to earn his spot at the table.
I mean, at that point, it's almost not worth his spot.
Well, that's why.
That's just to get on the table, and then once you get a spot at the table, then you gotta fight for food and everything. I'm sure. So it's like, what's the point? I'll just go to McDonald's.
All right. Well, we all predicted Reigns here, and he did successfully retain the Universal Championship.
And so we all had that one right, right?
Mm-hmm. That's right. So we all got a point.
Okay. I'm losing by 1.
You're losing by 1.
With 1 match to go, right? So we can all tie this up here.
Yes, we can. So I've lost 1, the New Day.
Oh, you did lose 1.
Yeah, I lost the New Day. You lost.
I just lost 1.
You lost the Shayna Nia match.
Mm-hmm.
And Rob, right now, is undefeated.
Wow.
Right now. That was until the main event.
Uh-oh.
Because it was Randy Orton versus The Fiend in the Firefly Inferno match, in which you both predicted The Fiend, and you were both wrong. Therefore,
I had a feeling. So we finished in a... Oh, I lost.
You lost, sir. Here's the final prediction results. Rob, 5 out of 6. Ethan, 5 out of 6. James, 4 out of 6. There you go.
I had a busy work week, okay?
This was interesting.
It was the final week of UCLA football. It was signing day. It was a long week.
Excuses. All right.
Oh, yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah.
This match was a Firefly Inferno match, which is the first ever. It wasn't a standard Inferno match where it surrounded the ring. It surrounded the entire Thunderdome.
Okay. Interesting.
It was incredible. Some really nice visuals. Ultimately, we got to see The Fiend get caught on fire, chase Randy Orton into the ring. I believe there's an image of him having Orton in the mandible claw while he's on fire. And then he gets RKO'd on fire. He loses a match because he obviously got set on fire.
Right.
And then we got to see Randy Orton commit murder as he set The Fiend on fire to close out the show, and then did his Orton pose.
Right.
To add an insult to injury. So yeah.
So can you maybe explain? I don't know if you've seen. I think the Fiend posted something on Twitter.
Bray
Just a
Wyatt.
photo, no caption. I don't think.
No, Bray.
Let me kind of call it up here because I'm kind of curious to know what exactly this is. I was looking at.
Mm-hmm.
Can you kind of fill me in on what's the deal?
I don't know what it is.
Okay, so you don't know because I'm looking at it here. I'm looking at it again.
It's an image, right?
It's an image. It actually, okay, so it actually, well, yeah, the 20th, so yesterday. It says thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So we're getting the moth thing. There's some sort of caterpillar thing in one tweet, which might have been before the pay-per-view.
No, it was after.
It was no, because he did two things. There was one the morning of.
Okay.
That was a caterpillar or something. And then I guess the second one here is him in his cocoon stage.
Yeah.
About 12 hours later. So if this man comes out with butterfly, if he comes out with butterfly wings,
what's gonna happen?
I don't know where they go.
Randy Orton has had a calendar year.
Before we get to Randy Orton, though, can I finish up with Bray Wyatt real quick? Didn't Bray Wyatt just have a baby?
I don't know.
I think he did. I think they just had the baby. Maybe.
I think it was earlier this year if they did.
Well, because I'm just trying to piece together if maybe we're gonna see Bray Wyatt do this cocoon thing, whatever. Maybe he's gonna step away from it a little bit and take some time.
Mm-hmm.
Probably not though, because where does Alexa fit into all this?
I don't know. She hasn't been on Raw in 2 weeks. I don't know if she was on tonight's episode or last week's episode now.
And she wasn't in part of the match at all, right?
Mm-mm.
Interesting. Okay. So there's that. Just wanted to bring that up. Go back to Randy Orton now and his calendar year. It has been a busy year and a solid year, I would say, for Randy Orton.
Started off feuding with Edge, a returning Edge.
Mm-hmm.
Had the greatest wrestling match ever with Edge. It was.
You know what, Ethan? I think his year is so big that we should start after the commercial break talking about Randy Orton because when you kind of break it down, it has been a pretty big year for Randall Keith. Was it Randall Keith Orton? I think something like that.
Yeah.
So I think we should save it and do the Legend Killer justice and honor him at the beginning of our next segment.
Okay, so you can follow me on Twitter at EthanM95. You can follow
That's
James
your segue?
I'm just trying to get to the commercial. Let's go.
Okay, all right.
James, you can
at
follow.
JW Reporter.
Rob, you can follow. Or how can they find you?
Rob Flores Media.
And you can follow the show at Real BTR Radio.
Mm-hmm.
But
for all my good predictions,
4 out of 6.
Hey, now we don't got to talk numbers here. We don't got to say the numbers out loud.
All right. But when we return, we're going to talk Randy Orton. We're going to talk some NXT AEW numbers. And yeah, whatever else we have time for right here on Beyond the Ropes. We are 22S Radio. 22S Radio is 22smedia.com and 88.1 FM, KKJZ HD3, Long Beach, Los Angeles. Welcome back to episode 122 of Beyond the Ropes. I'm your host, Ethan, joined alongside the analyst, James Williams, and of course, our producer, Rob Flores. You can follow me on Twitter at EthanM85. You can follow James at JHW Reporter. You can follow Rob at Rob Flores Media. It's the end of the year, so we gotta talk about a couple of things here. We were just talking about Randy Orton's career this past year, a calendar year. So let's talk about Randy Orton. He started off the year looking to win the Royal Rumble match. However, he was kind of met with his match, a former tag team partner, former rival in the Rated R Superstar. So, Edge made his surprising return at the Royal Rumble this year, probably the most shocking moment of the year, and probably the biggest surprise of the year. So I will say Randy Orton was eliminated by Edge. However, the following night hit Edge with an RKO, leading into the rivalry going into WrestleMania. Of course, these two kind of cut phenomenal promos on each other. There was at one point Beth Phoenix took an RKO from Randy Orton. There was a few brawls in between, and then we got to see a phenomenal about 45-minute last man standing match at WrestleMania, in which Edge made his singles return to WrestleMania, defeating the Viper Randy Orton in a brutal match at the WWE Performance Center. We'll talk a little bit about the Performance Center because, I mean, we spent, 4 or 5 months, 6 months, if actually, probably, at the Performance Center. And that was an intense situation for sure. But going back to Randy Orton, he ended up losing the match, but continued to go after Edge as they went into the Backlash pay-per-view, where they faced off in the greatest wrestling match ever. This was a bit of a cinematic match, as there were different camera angles and stuff like that. Ultimately, a match that almost brought a tear to The Undertaker's eyes, as he said himself, because it was so good. He said it himself. Yes, Randy Orton. Randy Orton did pick up the victory after a punt to the head, and we got to see that happen. He took out Edge. Edge got hurt. He was out for the rest of the year. We'll see him in 2021 for sure, but what a comeback for Edge, as we mentioned him. Randy Orton then pursued the WWE Championship, lost his first encounter with Drew McIntyre at SummerSlam thanks to a roll-up predicament. They faced off again in an ambulance match where, after taking out several legends, Shawn Michaels, Christian, Big Show, and Ric Flair, they all kind of got payback. It was kind of the ghosts from Randy Orton's past. Drew McIntyre ended up defeating Orton there. They faced off another time at Hell in a Cell, where inside the cell they challenged each other, and McIntyre ended up losing after falling off the side of the cell and getting hit with an RKO. Randy Orton won his 14th WWE Championship. However, that reign would be short-lived, as 3 weeks later he went to challenge Drew in another phenomenal match on Monday Night Raw, where Drew McIntyre ended up winning back that championship. So James is currently on mute, but he's saying, was RKO Superstar of the Year? Was Randy Orton Superstar of the Year? I'm assuming. Potentially. He's up there. But yes, even though he lost the title, went on to feud with The Fiend, as we were just discussing, and he set him on fire. So what a year he had. Randy Orton may very well be the Superstar of the Year.
Did you hear about Drew McIntyre and the year he's had with 2 title reigns, and was able to surpass The Undertaker, who you mentioned just a minute ago? Drew McIntyre surpassed The Undertaker's title reign all time in a year. That's how short The Undertaker title reigns were, when you think about it. That's kind of crazy.
Undertaker is one of those figures that never needed a title.
Never needed it, for sure. That's for sure.
Kind of like The Fiend. He doesn't need it. But yeah, good for Drew McIntyre. What a year for him, a breakout year. He defeated Brock. He won the Royal Rumble in January, eliminated Brock, went on to WrestleMania to defeat him in like 5 minutes, defended that title later that night against Big Show, won a few times, defeated Seth Rollins, our Lord and Savior Seth Rollins.
Seth Rollins is the one who has a baby. That's what I was thinking about. Seth and Becky have a baby.
So Drew McIntyre, successful year. So let's talk about some other superstars. You mentioned Seth Rollins. We got to see the rise of the Monday Night Messiah and his kind of faction there. Of course, he and Becky got have a new child, so congrats to them. So they had a great year. Becky Lynch started off a lengthy Raw Women's Champion, and then obviously vacated the title shortly after WrestleMania. Let's talk about who else had a calendar year.
Well, so first of all, before we get into a lot of these, are there Slammy results out?
Slammies happened already on Wednesday by the time this
Okay.
airs. So it's technically 23rd.
Okay. So we don't have them yet. Because I think go ahead.
We'll probably talk about them.
At the
We can
beginning
talk about them on socials or next episode, beginning of the first year. Yeah.
Because I think I just wanted to maybe clarify a pick that I made, because I think we did predictions on this.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you had told me before, but I didn't know Bianca Belair made her own gear, and I think that's why you picked her, and I don't think I picked her. I think I went with the
best gear.
Yeah, for best gear. And I think I went with the New Day. And I'm willing to admit I might be wrong, and I might go with Bianca Belair on that one. Because that's pretty impressive if you're making your own gear. And I think she's kind of been staking her claim on that award for the Slammies on Twitter. So I definitely think she should be in the mix for sure. I think that was something that I didn't take into consideration. Go ahead. What?
I think she makes Montez Ford's gear or his outfits as well.
I was gonna say she probably would have to. No, I mean she wouldn't have to, but I wouldn't see why not. But then again, I mean they don't switch as much, so I could see it.
Yeah. Let's see. Roman Reigns, the Tribal Chief, the rise of the Tribal Chief. I'm saying it right now. Best heel in the entire business.
Should they have done it sooner?
Should they have done it sooner? Maybe, but it's going so well right now. You know, it is what it is. I'll take it.
I mean, could they have done it sooner? Sure. But timing and with everything, I think it might have been looked at a lot differently if fans were there, though. Just because, you know, they wouldn't have bought it, or they would have been booing it, or they would have been cheering for him. So I think this does give you a chance to. I think if for them to have done it, I think it worked out pretty good.
I agree.
I would say, timing wise.
WWE at the Performance Center spent 6 months there, including WrestleMania. Of course, no one would have predicted the pandemic, but you know, we got the Thunderdome out of it, and that's been pretty cool so far. We got to see NXT go retro, as they had In Your House, Great American Bash, Halloween Havoc, and by the time this airs, we'll be previewing, or we'll be just short of the New Year's Evil special event as well, happening on the first NXT of the new year. So they went retro. Speaking of Performance Center, we got to see kind of the rise of Retribution. It's kind of been a mixed bag, but got to see a new stable kind of rise. The Hurt Business have been taking care of business as they've ended the year as champions. And let's see what else. Oh, let's talk about Undisputed Era.
Oh,
Come
Lord,
on now.
do we have to? Okay. So since you want to bring them up, has this been a good year for the Undisputed Era? I don't. Is this the same year when they were in the trunk? When they were like kidnapped and all that stuff?
Look,
this was the same year, right? Adam
Cole had broke the record, longest NXT title reign.
Oh, that was this year?
Mm-hmm. Kyle O'Reilly has been made into a single star, having a stellar match against Finn Balor. They had some gold earlier this year, so they won War Games. They've remained a staple in NXT. Solid year, I say.
Not bad. Not bad.
I don't know if that's wrong. Here, there you go. For anyone watching it, so I'm doing it place so you can see it.
But I think you're right, and I think we'll kind of go into that with what has actually been going on in the ratings right now between AEW and NXT. A lot closer than I remember it being the week prior, but you have 806,000 for AEW this week. They had the big, what eventually turned into a 12-man tag team match involving a variety of teams and the Inner Circle, who are having their own mix, or trying to figure out their chemistry issues, I guess you can say. But the Inner Circle does come out on top in this one, beating the team of Top Flight, the Varsity Blondes, and Best Friends. I think I think I would have picked Inner Circle on that one. NXT had 766,000, so falling just short by about 40,000 or so. Yeah, about 40,000 or so to AEW, but it was a close one. We did have some returns on the NXT side. Ethan, I don't know. Would that have been the first NXT after the pay-per-view? Would it happen? It would have been,
no.
Right?
No.
Are we? I'm talking.
No.
This is for last Wednesday.
No, this was the second week.
No? Okay. Well, what has happened with the Undisputed Era since you brought it up? Where are they?
Kyle O'Reilly has become number one contender again for the NXT Championship.
Okay, again.
New Year's Evil. It will be Finn
against Finn
for the NXT title.
So where's Karrion Kross fit in all this? Is he's Priest now, or
Damian Priest at New Year's Evil?
Okay. So they're not jumping right into it, which is okay. Which I think is okay. I'm not against that.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of, you're not putting Kross into it right away, but then you're still kind of letting it be known that he does want the title at the end of the day. So I think that's good. That's good booking there. That's good booking.
Mm-hmm.
And you're setting up your pay-per-view or your next big special event. But everyone still seems to be leaning on an AEW still. Obviously with Sting being there, I think last time I remember Sting and Cody had some more interaction, but Sting was I think Cody's trying to kind of recruit him a little bit, or maybe have him as another guy or whatever on his side. But I think Sting is going to be working kind of solo here. I think we did talk about a lot of this last week, where long-term deal for Sting with AEW. I'm sure that can kind of help with the ratings the way that it did. So we'll see. We'll see what they have in store. But AEW continues to win. We might have to start counting up the number of weeks here in which AEW may be pulling away. I know NXT had a win in the ratings not too long ago. So we'll see.
Mm-hmm. Indeed. Any memorable moments for the year? We got 5 minutes here before we wrap up.
Memorable moments. I'll let you guys go first while I try and think of something here.
Well, Randy Orton murdering the Fiend is pretty memorable. It happened just 2 weeks ago, but
that one might just be a little fresh on the brain. But I think, though, too, again, as we kind of mentioned, a big year for Randy Orton. There might have been, I'm not going to lie, maybe a year or two, a couple years in the past where I thought maybe Randy Orton was maybe getting a little stale, or we've kind of seen the best of Randy Orton. But he continues to just impress and continue to do more and more every year. So I tip my hat to him on that. He's continued to do great things, especially as he's getting closer to retirement than he is being away from his rookie year. So I give him credit.
Rob, your favorite wrestler, has been 24/7 champion 45 times now, I think. Your thoughts?
R-Truth was always memorable.
Let's not forget, R-Truth is leading the way for most title reigns in WWE history. Let's not forget, that was a big topic on last week's episode, in case anyone forgot. I mean, I don't remember the number, but I mean, he had just his very well established 24/7 title run has put him atop many Hall of Famers and legends such as Ric Flair and Randy Orton and John Cena and Triple H and The Big Show and Stone Cold and The Rock and Bret Hart and HBK and Triple H and even good old Raven, who was, I believe, bumped down to second because of that. Strong performance and solid year by R-Truth. He's taken on all comers. He's beaten down ninjas. He's beaten down gobbledygookers and everything in between. So I can totally understand why R-Truth is Rob's favorite wrestler. Just think about the resume.
R-Truth.
Just look at it. Even just look at it. Take it for what it is and appreciate it.
He got F5'd by Brock Lesnar at the beginning of the year.
A highlight.
Mm-hmm.
And then Brock Lesnar, I believe, didn't he want to work with R-Truth? Isn't that the word on the street? On the Twitter street?
Brock's not there.
No, not now, but isn't that why the segment happened?
Yes. Afterwards, I think it happened afterwards.
Because R-Truth was in for a big year. He's the top guy. Of course, someone like Brock Lesnar wants to work with R-Truth.
Okay.
Tell me I'm wrong.
Who was your superstar of the year?
R-Truth. I don't know. There's a lot of good. That it's tough this year. In years past, it was kind of easy. Like if you look at the Daniel Bryan year, for example, and the whole build up to that and the title run he had a few years back, you can kind of make a case for Roman Reigns and the run he's had, but I think it might be too short of a sample size, just considering the him not being at WrestleMania and whatnot. But maybe Drew McIntyre with two title runs. Are we just talking about WWE? Because you can look at Kenny Omega winning the title and bringing back the Bullet Club. No,
look, Bullet Club's Finn Balor and
AJ Styles. Okay,
so.
okay. I mean, you got Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows now aligned with the Omega in the Impact AEW
partnership,
thing, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, whatever.
Well, they bury the world. They bury the Impact World Champion.
You know what? We need a whole nother show because I was disgusted. Before I talked about it before, they don't let the man in the door. They don't let Rich Swann in the door. That's one thing. But when you beat him down at the end of his own show, I was very upset. But I'll save it for another episode.
Anyways, it was.
I was very upset, Ethan.
It was calendar year for the Undisputed Era. We got to wrap it up. Thanks for tuning in 2020. It's been up and down because, of course, we had to stop the show for a little while. Mm-hmm. Glad we're back. And 2021 is going to be a big year. We continue to evolve. Till next time, this has been episode 122 of Beyond the Ropes. It has been undisputed, and it has been too sweet.
WrestleMania in LA? We'll find out.